Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by the Epoch Times, the European Commission recently warned that the current trade and investment relationship between the European Union and China is unsustainable. Following a high-level closed-door meeting, EU officials agreed on the necessity of preparing European citizens and businesses for a potential escalation in trade tensions and anticipated retaliation from Beijing. The EU is actively exploring new regulatory tools to counter Chinese industrial overcapacity and state subsidies in key strategic sectors such as electric vehicles, solar energy, and batteries. Additionally, Sabine Weiyan, the former Director General of DG Trade, stated that the EU-China Comprehensive Agreement on Investment is now outdated and likened it to expired food in the fridge. Experts note that European policymakers and the public have grown increasingly defensive and skeptical of Beijing, signaling a shift toward protecting local industries and diversifying supply chains. According to the Epoch Times, the U.S. Department of the Treasury announced a new round of sanctions on June 5, aiming to further disrupt Iran's liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, smuggling, and shadow banking networks. The newly targeted network is accused of transporting hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Iranian LPG to end users in South and East Asia, deliberately disguising the shipments as Omani LPG to evade U.S. sanctions. The Treasury Department designated 12 entities, including Shanghai Qianye Energy Technology Co., Limited, based in China, as well as 6 LPG transport tankers, several of which fly the Panamanian flag. Additionally, the U.S. government sanctioned an Iranian exchange house, Mehrdad Garamian Neek and Partners Company, alongside its leadership for allegedly facilitating the transfer of hundreds of millions of dollars on behalf of sanctioned Iranian banks. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stated that the action, part of Operation Economic Wrath, is designed to continue cutting off Iran's shadow fleet, shadow banking networks, and channels for participating in global trade, ultimately restricting the regime's revenue sources used to fund weapons development and proxy groups. According to a report by Al Jazeera, an Israeli attack on a tent camp housing displaced people in Gaza City has killed at least 6 Palestinians and wounded a dozen more, including children. The strike took place amid heightened tensions and ongoing diplomatic efforts. Hamas strongly condemned the attack, describing it as a massacre of women and children. The group also accused Israel of deliberately carrying out the strike to undermine ceasefire-related negotiations currently being held in Cairo, Egypt. The incident has raised further concerns over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the prospects of achieving a lasting truce. According to Engadget, President Donald Trump has signed a national security presidential memorandum aimed at putting cutting-edge artificial intelligence tools into the hands of the United States military. The directive establishes a new framework to accelerate the onboarding of advanced commercial and open-source AI models across federal defense agencies. As part of this initiative, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is tasked with issuing an updated directive regarding autonomous weapon systems. Additionally, the memorandum introduces a strict regulatory measure. No commercial or non-commercial entity will be permitted to disable, degrade, or modify any active AI model being utilized by American warfighters without securing prior government approval. However, the memorandum does include safeguards. It prohibits defense agencies from developing or releasing AI systems designed for censoring free speech, embedding ideological bias, or conducting unlawful surveillance on American citizens. This security memo follows a scaled-back executive order signed earlier in the week, which aims to regulate the broader AI industry and grants the government a 30-day window to review newly developed frontier models before they are released to the public. According to a report by the Liberty Times, Pakistani Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi has arrived in Tehran to deliver a special message to Iran's Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. This message comes from Pakistan's Army Chief of Staff, Asim Munir, who has emerged as a key mediator between the United States and Iran in negotiations aimed at ending the ongoing war in the Middle East. Additionally, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has reportedly given Naqvi specific instructions regarding these U.S.-Iran talks. In a related development, Lebanese military commander Radolf Kaikal has traveled to Pakistan to meet with Munir. Sources indicate that Lebanon's involvement is a critical component of these high-stakes diplomatic efforts. The region was plunged into deeper conflict earlier this year when Hezbollah launched retaliatory attacks following the joint U.S.-Israeli assassination of former Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. While Israel and Lebanon recently agreed to a ceasefire, clashes have persisted. These diplomatic missions underline Pakistan's active role in attempting to broker a peaceful resolution to the conflict. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.